This video is brought to you by Fallen Dominion Studios. Check out their website at fallendominionstudios.com. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz, and today we're going to be talking about it's something a little bit near and dear to my heart in terms of the source material, but it is a game called Space Princess. Now, this game was designed by Michael Edison. It's by Nerdy Pup Games. It's just a two-player game. It's made for about 15 to 20 minutes. I think it says 20 minutes on the box, and it's for 13 and up in terms of age. This game is very special and interesting because it pays homage to the late great Carrie Fisher of Star Wars fame, you know, Princess Leia. And it's actually a really, really cool thing because this is supposed to be for a charity, okay? It's the International Bipolar Foundation. This is going to be going up on Indiegogo very soon. I think it's March 6th. And all proceeds go to that particular foundation. So it's a charitable organization that Carrie Fisher herself, actually promoted. But it's basically the Space Princess is trying to escape from, I think it's like a prison, you know, in a sense. It's like a bunch of different kind of, it's like a space station. You're trying to get to an escape hatch to get away from the Dark Zealot, okay? Ooh, he looks a little like Darth Vader, you know. But, you know, that's basically the nature of the game. You have to outwit the other player to be able to escape and win. So anyway, let me just go ahead and get you just a quick overview of the game, get you over to the table. I'll show you how it plays, and then we'll come back for my final thoughts. First and foremost, you're going to put your princess over here. You're going to put the troopers over in these different opposite ends of the corridors, and then you're also going to put your Dark Zealot right there, okay? Now, your ultimate goal is going to get the princess over to one of these two escape hatches, okay? And then if you see these areas with the orange or the reddish looking lines on them, and then also the arrows, that means these are doors, and the red areas the princess cannot go through or shoot through. However, the Dark Zealot or the two troopers can actually go through these, but they just can't shoot through them. The Zealot doesn't shoot, but the troopers can't shoot through these specifically, okay? They have no line of sight. Now, for example, if you look here, this trooper right here has line of sight to the princess and vice versa. So they could effectively shoot each other if they drew one of these two, one of the cards that say shoot, basically. Okay, whoever's a Dark Zealot's going to get this one. Whoever's a Space Princess is going to get this one. Okay, and whenever you play, you're going to draw two cards, okay, and then you're going to turn them over, all right, and then you're going to choose what's going to be best for you to use. For example, this one says sense. It's like, think of this as using the force for the Dark Zealot. This one says outflank, and the rulebook's going to have all of these, so I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but for example, this one's saying that the Dark Zealot can move orthogonally wherever he wants to, if you choose that, or you can have the troopers shoot. So in this case, it would be probably good for that trooper to shoot and get the Space Princess and win the game, because the first time she gets shot, that's it. If the Dark Zealot captures her by landing on her space or getting in the same space with her, or the troopers shoot her, you know, the Dark Zealot wins. But if the princess is able to get the escape pods, she wins, but at the same time, she can also kill these troopers. However, there are cards in the Dark Zealot stack that can bring them back in the game. So anyway, both of you are going to choose two cards, and you're not going to tell each other what you got, and then you're going to choose one that you want to use, put the other card that you don't use this time back into the stack underneath. It's not discarded. It's going to come up later again. And then what you're going to do is you're going to both play your cards, and whoever has the lower number rank on the card, as you see, this one's a 13 or 14, the lower number wins, and that means that the lower number gets to resolve their card first. For example, this is going to be a hologram. This is that outflank card. So first I'm going to do the outflank. In this case, it probably would have killed the Space Princess, but let's pretend it didn't. She gets to play her card next, and now she gets to put a hologram down wherever she decides to. So for example, if you want to put it here, if you put the hologram down, that means that the troopers and the zealot all have to go for the hologram. Now, the troopers have to. The zealot only has to if the zealot was within one space when it was placed. Okay? So that's pretty much in general how the game's going to play. You're going to keep on doing that until you run out of cards, and then you're going to reshuffle and keep playing until either the princess reaches the hatch, or the zealot captures or shoots her, basically. Okay, and let me go ahead and show you the different kinds of cards in the game just to give you an idea. You got the hollow card. This is the princess's deck. You've got doors where you can actually shift doors, turn the doors in such ways. Evade, where you can turn a door, and then also you can move the princess, and so on and so forth. Ambush, where you could actually knock out one of the troopers off the deck and close the door or change the door around. You can also hide, and you can put like say the princess is right here, you could put this hide card right out here in the middle, and then you could actually on the next turn have her show up on one of the 4 diagonal spots. Okay, it's almost like a teleportation in a sense, but that's another little power of hers. And then you got dash, which basically moves her twice, and fire, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, you got the Dark Zealot deck I was telling you about. Sense, you got the advanced trooper twice. You got both troopers can fire once. You got lockdown, which basically means you put it on a door somewhere, and the princess can no longer control the doors. You can lock it any direction you want to. You got Converge, where you can move both troopers. You got Capture, where the actual Dark Zealot can actually go diagonally instead of orthogonally. And then that's pretty much that deck. There are other variants in the game. One of them can be the Zealot's Edge, where you can actually take one of these escape hatches away and make the princess work her way towards only one escape hatch. It's helpful for the Zealot. You also have an easy mode in the game, which means tough princess. It gives you extra hit points that you have to get as the princess to win the game. Okay, so instead of just one hit or one capture, she has to be hit twice or captured twice. And then also secret plans, or hidden plans, I think it's called, where you put these 4 different cards out on these areas of the game, these corridors, and the princess has to find the correct plans. She didn't find it, but she gets to keep it, but she doesn't have to tell the Dark Zealot that she couldn't find it, right? She keeps these face down, so that wasn't the right plans because they're red, but if she finds the correct plans, she can now go to the escape hatch and leave with these secret plans. Now, keep in mind, she can't do that until she gets the secret plans. That adds a little more flavor, and it's just another variant of the game. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give you my final thoughts. What did I think of Space Princess? I liked the game. I can go ahead and say that. I did like it. One thing is going into it, I knew what I was expecting. It is a filler game. It is not supposed to be extraordinarily deep, but it is a filler game, and it's somewhat abstract, but it's got some little thematic elements that are thrown in there that kind of draw you into the theme a little bit more. I did like it. Now, when it comes to production quality, keep in mind this is a pre-production Indiegogo game. This is not final, so anything could change, right, including rules and so on and so forth. But anyway, long story short, I do like the artwork that they've already presented. The Dark Zealot looks really cool. I did like the Space Princess, and so the artwork in and of itself was nice. Now, when it comes to the actual board and the tiles, it's a very minimalist approach. It's not something that just jumps out at me in anything, but I did like the functionality of the board and how you can, twist the doors and things like that. And it's very simply laid out, which makes it nice because you're not sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is so convoluted and complicated looking. It's not that at all. It's very minimalist, very simple design, and that actually works for this game. So anyway, what did I like about it? I got to play on the Princess side and the Dark Zealot side. I played as a Dark Zealot a little bit more. And the Dark Zealot's controlling those 2 extra pawns, basically troopers that are going around trying to hunt down the princess as she's making her way through the corridors, right? Think of, A New Hope when they're trying to go through the Death Star and find their way back to the ship. It kind of had that feel a little bit. And it is kind of interesting when you're the space princess. It feels like, the whole world is just closing in around you, and all your avenues of approach are quickly being destroyed or changed, or you're just basically being boxed in at times by the Dark Zealot, the Darth Vader, basically the archetype, I guess, who is relentlessly hunting you down. Now, that in that way, the theme's kind of cool. Again, it is somewhat abstract, but there you can tell, like I said, little thematic ties there. I did like the mechanics of the card system. At first, I thought there should be more cards. I'll be honest with you. I was sitting there going, man, this is chintzy. I wish there were more cards to play with. But over time, I like the idea that there was only, I think it was 7 cards on each side in terms of your actions. Like, the Space Princess, she can throw down holograms. She can hide. She can dash, meaning move around a lot. She can fire at people. She can change doors to unlock them and things like that. The Dark Zealot can use capture moves where he can actually move diagonally instead of orthogonally, which is the normal movement in the game. He can actually move troopers. And the one thing that really tied me into Star Wars heavily was the sense card, and that was actually a really cool thing because it's supposed to be like the Force, right? I'm sensing this thing that's going on over here, and it gives me an ability to go back into my discard deck and use a card that I used earlier, and that can really tie into the Dark Zealot's powers in the game. And that's this card almost by itself makes a Dark Zealot almost unstoppable. Now, I'm not saying the Space Princess never won. That did happen, but the Dark Zealot definitely has one up on her. But the hologram that the Space Princess throws down really, really does help. There were times where I was boxed in or my friend was boxed in, and we threw that hologram down, and it started pulling the troopers and the Zealot further towards the hologram, and so it does. Both sides are somewhat very well balanced, in terms of the cards that are used. And when it came to the amount of cards, the fact that you're able to somewhat strategically use the cards to be able to outwit each other, and you kind of have an idea of what's going to come up possibly if you've already gone through part of the deck and you're like, okay, this is what I've got left coming up. That's a cool thing. Now, the part of this game that I wasn't so sure about at first was the fact that you are almost completely incumbent or dependent upon that card draw. I mean, if you're somebody who doesn't like a lot of luck in your game, yes, there is some strategy in this game. Yes, you're tactically making decisions. But if you are not a fan of the card draw, you might not be as big a fan of this game in that way. But the way that it does kind of mitigate itself is the fact that you're drawing 2 cards at a time and choosing one of them, right? So yeah, there's a chance that you could have a really terrible card draw. I had that happen once or twice in a game. But overall, you get an idea of what you might do with what you just look at the board and go, okay, what am I going to do with these, right? And choose the best one. And then the one saving grace of this is that you don't discard that second card. You put it back in the deck, and you're kind of strategically going, okay, I'm going to count on that card coming back up, and I'll have another chance at that, hopefully. And again, it's going to depend on what you draw and where you are in the game. So if, like I said, if you like that kind of thing, if that doesn't bother you, this is a really cool game to get into. And I will say this, the brevity, honestly, the how quick this game is saves it for me. Because I'll be honest, if this game was longer than it was, I would be very bored with it. I really would. I like the game, don't get me wrong, but it is strictly a filler, strategic, tactical style game. And so understand what you're getting into. This is not a hugely deep thematic game. This is not going to be something where you're getting a lot of meat out of it, right? But it does have some really cool little twists in gameplay that keeps you interested. But like I said, if it went much longer than what we played it for, it wouldn't keep my interest. But I think the sweet spot is what it says on the box, about 20 minutes. And most of the games we played didn't even take that long. So the game in and of itself is a fun in-between filler between these bigger suckers that I got behind me, for example. The other thing that kept it from being boring were the several different variants in the game, right? The Zealot's Edge, I think it's called, and also the Hidden Plans, I think that's what it's called, where you actually add in more cards into the game and where the princess has to run around and actually find the right plans before she gets into that escape hatch. that actually upped the enjoyment factor for me. That added a little bit more pizzazz to the game, where actually it added a tiny bit more meat on the bone, and it was a lot more fun for me. And quite frankly, I almost want to say I would play that way every time. Those variants really add a lot of flavor to the game. Now, if you're a first-time player in this, I would personally recommend the tough princess variant, where you actually have extra life added to you instead of just one hit kill and you're captured. You actually have to get captured again to actually be captured, or you have to be shot at again to actually lose if you're the princess. Right. Anyway, I did like the game. I definitely recommend it. And it goes for a great cause, you know, the Bipolar Foundation. That's a worthy charitable cause. And hey, it pays homage to someone most of us all love, Carrie Fisher, right? And so anyway, that's going to be all for me. Thank you so much for watching the Dice Odyssey videos. Check out Space Princess on Indiegogo. It's coming up very quickly, and we'll have a link down below when it actually goes active. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and please like and subscribe to the video. And we do videos pretty regularly throughout the month, and we want to keep giving you great content. Anyway, thank you so much. You have a blessed day. And game away.